everybody, I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to a new episode of my Under Hype Foundation series, and today we are going back to Dior because I'm going to talk you through another foundation by Dior, and this time we are going to review the Dior Star Foundation. The full description on the bottle says it is studio makeup, spectacular brightening, weightless perfection, and it also states that it has SPF of 30 and it is a long wearing foundation. I got mine in the shade 031, which is usually my shade in Dior. I usually use either 030 as I did with the Nude Air foundation by Dior, of course, and this time I'm using the 031. If you are not familiar with Dior shades, every shade that ends with a 0 has a neutral undertone. The ones that end with 1, they have yellow and warm undertones. Of course, as usual, they suggest on the back to shake well before you use it. And this foundation is actually so interesting because it has SPF of 30, but at the same time it doesn't flash back at all in photos. Actually, I'm not sure what kind of SPF they used here, but the microspheres of the silicone pigments really reflect light so beautifully, so you are not going to get white cast when you are taking photos. Actually, this foundation is really made to be used under studio lights or for camera and flash. This is not my first impression of this foundation because I've used a full bottle of it, but because I know that not many people talk about it, I thought that I would give you my opinion on it. So I'm just going to apply, I think I'm going to apply 1.5 pumps. So as you could see, this is the consistency. It is not runny, but at the same time it is not so thick. But this foundation is very interesting because it sets so fast, so you really need to work so quickly with it. And at the same time, it doesn't give a completely matte finish when you blend it. So although it is a foundation that sets really fast, it is not a totally matte foundation. It has a skin-like finish, I would say. My skin type is combination. I have enlarged pores on the center of my face. I sometimes get dry patches on my nose. Today, I actually used another moisturizer. Usually, I use the Elizabeth Arden moisturizer that I've mentioned in my other videos. It is an oil-free moisturizing lotion. But today, because this foundation sets really fast, I needed some extra hydration or emolliency in my base. So I applied a moisturizer that is a bit more emollient, so it is not so tacky and sets so fast. And I'm going back to my Tarte brush in order to apply this foundation because I find that this is the best way to apply it, using a very dense brush that is going to drag the foundation well, because as I said, it sets really fast. So I'm just going to dot it on my face. I'm just going to start blending, and that's why I chose to use this brush, because it is really fast. So it's just going to work with the foundation so quickly. So as you could see, I'm just swiping the foundation and blending it outwards from the center of my face. And I do not use any powder with this foundation because it really sets and it doesn't get oily. It is a very long wearing foundation and it stays the same on the skin for up to 8 hours or probably more. I do not wear my foundations for a very long time. Usually I just get impatient at the end of the day and I just want to remove my makeup. So looking at this foundation from a distance, it looks perfect. And I'm not going to use any powder, as I mentioned, and I'm not going to build it up because this coverage is medium going to full coverage with 1.5 pumps or probably 2 pumps. And I've used this foundation before with a beauty blender. It shears it out, so instead of getting a high medium coverage, you are just going to get medium coverage, and you'll still have some places that you need to apply more foundation on top. I'm just going to set my under eye concealer with powder because I was waiting until I apply all my liquids to go with the powder. And of course, now we are going to come close so that you could see how the foundation is looking on the skin so far. I think you could tell that this foundation doesn't have a very dewy finish, but at the same time it is casting some highlight on my cheekbones. but on the other areas it is really completely set. Around the nose it looks perfect, and this is one of the main reasons that I really love this foundation, and I find it to be the perfect foundation for my skin because it doesn't cling to dry patches easily. So if you have a little, it's not going to be a problem. If you have lots of flakiness, I think any foundation would emphasize that. But this is very forgiving on dry patches, considering that it is a foundation that sets so quickly and it is not a dewy foundation. So of course I'm going to do the rest of my makeup and then I'm going to take a flash photo and insert it for you. I'm using some contour today, so I'm going to use the same kit that I used before. This is the Sleek contour kit. I'm just going to take the contour powder and do some very light sculpting. So I really prefer to do very light sculpting. I do not like to pile contour powders or colors on my face. I'm now moving to my blush. I'm going to use this Hourglass Ambient Lighting blush in the shade Dim Infusion. Mine looks in a very poor state because it is broken and I've just put it back together. Today I'm using a very interesting lip color that I think would go well with this burgundy smoky eye. This is the Revlon, what they call it, Color Stay Ultimate Suede Lipsticks. Alright, let's take the flash photo and insert it here. So as you could see, the foundation looks flawless, and my verdict is that this foundation is very underhyped. Actually, this might be my favorite foundation of all time. I know also that I introduced it to my sister and she told me that this is the best thing that she has ever tried in her life. My sister's skin is similar to mine in the sense that it is prone to breakouts, but her skin is very, very sensitive, and this foundation didn't cause her to break out or anything. So I think this foundation is amazing for a couple of reasons, or for many reasons. Providing demi-matte finish, sets so quickly, it is long wearing, it has SPF of 30, it doesn't flash back, it doesn't get oily, it doesn't cling to dry patches, and they have loads of shades and many undertones from neutral to yellow to peach and pink. So you will definitely find your shade or your undertone in this foundation. It is amazing, and I think this is one of the latest releases by Dior. I think they released the Dior Forever after that, and I hear people talking about that one a lot more than they do about this foundation. So of course I'm going to insert a photo at the end of the day to see how the foundation is looking, and I'll speak to you very soon. And I'd like to remind you, if you like these types of videos, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Why not? Because I always have some ideas that I'd like to share with you, so your encouragement really makes me work harder. Anyway, please stay tuned. I'll see you very soon. Until then, please be safe. Bye.